Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition, another week, another marathon, another this morning week again.
It's a marathon?
It's a marathon. I mean, we are running against time. You know, everybody is running a marathon. You know, when you look at the way system works. I am Ibrahim Abalde, so wherever you're watching this program, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. And I am with Mr. Momodu Mboj as the co-host of this program. Mr. Momodu Mboj, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, until I had your gobbledygook as an opener.
I wanted to throw that to you, Mr. Mboj. I wanted you to open that conversation.
When is a marathon not a marathon anyway? Yes.
Yeah. So Mr. Adedrame is the newspaper review guest on this program. Mr. Ade, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Balde.
How have you been?
I've been all right.
How is your one-day weekend?
Yeah, my one-day weekend was cool and nice. It was very hot yesterday. I went for a drive, I went shopping, which I sometimes do. And one of the reasons I did was because we didn't have electricity for the whole of Saturday and most of Sunday in our area. But it only seemed to affect a few houses, ours and the 2 or 3 houses either side of us. Everybody else seemed to have electricity. And what is even more bizarre, in our own compound, half the buildings in the compound had electricity. The other half did not.
There is a reason.
It was so strange.
It
was so
sometimes you are connected to this side and the other side.
It's the way
it happens. Where opposite houses, the other house, you know, it's with power and the other one doesn't have power. And I asked whether it's the cash power meter. They said no, there is cash power, but the lines are different.
There was cash power.
But I think in this instance, this is a one-off.
It's a one-off. Yeah, because we've never had that before.
So they've never had it. So there's an issue, possibly.
But it's teaching me that I should stop buying cheese.
You know,
I put cheese in my fridge and
oh yeah,
gets cooked.
You stop putting cheese?
Last time
I learned that your cheese melts.
And same thing happened again. So I think I'll have to stop buying cheese.
I think you need to invite us for purdy sometimes. Cheese purdy. I stopped talking about how stable the power is at my end because for the past 2-3 years, I've been receiving stable power. But when I mentioned it on the program the other time, I started having power cuts. So I stopped mentioning how stable my power is, and I am enjoying it. Thank you. Yeah, so we'll take a look at the African code. From the code, we will do the newspaper review. We'll look at major headlines and key stories on the main newspapers in this country. And later we'll be talking to the Kanifing General Hospital. They are currently conducting first urology camp in the Gambia. You understand? So we will also be talking to Dels of QTV. He is nominated for the Le Africa Awards.
Yes.
In Senegal.
Let's hope he's in.
Yeah, so Dels would be on this platform.
It's early in the day for him.
As the last segment. Yeah, very early for Dels. I know this time, at this point he would be sleeping now. Yeah, very early for Dels. But he would be here. Dels knows what he wants.
He knows, inshallah.
So we'll take a look at the African code. A good farmer will always notice strange footsteps in his farm.
Ooh.
A good farmer will always notice strange footsteps in his farm. Wait until you see the African code video. Please, director, project the video. It's on the server.
Oh, there's a video?
It's not on the server. Wherever the video is, make sure you go get it, because I specifically told the editors to put the video here so that we can project it. It's a nice video, a sweet You see what director is saying now.
And this is a case of, I guess,
oh my God,
it's about your territory. Take it out of the farm, and in any sort of practical sense, you are in control of. And if anything happens that's maybe out of the ordinary, you'll see. For example, you might be in Q Group IT and you see some strange sort of activity. Straight away, you think, hang on, somebody's trying to hack or something, and, you'll be alert to that. So, it's about, for me, it's there, to be honest, there are several interpretations one could make of this. But
master your craft,
well,
and you will definitely know all the tricks.
Well, yes,
you understand?
And particularly if there's something that's untoward, because it's the thing
that's it.
Yes,
you will never know everything.
Quite.
But hopefully you can notice something unusual.
Yeah, quite.
That's really what it's saying.
Yes.
To notice, to be vigilant, be alert.
Yes.
To unusual
activity.
Activities. That's it.
Yeah.
Paying attention to detail. I mean, like I always refer to some of the crime scenes movies that I watch all the time. There are people that they are very good at clearing or tampering with crime scenes.
Yes.
I mean, at some point. But people that are experienced when it comes to
they will know.
The FBI and other investigative, personnel, they will definitely see certain things and realize something is abnormal. And those are the clues that they follow, to unfold the bigger thing that happened.
Or, for example, as happened, I left my water overnight, and when I came, I realized that
something.
That's not how I left it.
That was not the amount, the volume
that I left. So I didn't need to be a detective to know that, but I knew straight away. It's one of these weird things that I'm quite good at sort of noticing things like that. That if something's out of place, you can pick it up straight away. The unusual.
Yes, and that's just a really very good point. The fact that you might have a whole team. Of investigators looking at the same thing. But the most experienced one amongst them would notice things that others wouldn't.
Straight away.
So judgment, experience comes into it. Really, who would notice what?
One of the big stories over the last 10, 12 days in Western Europe had been the heist at the Louvre Museum in Paris. In broad daylight.
Oh, yeah.
Now 7 people have been arrested, and apparently they left lots and lots of clues. They left fingerprints.
Absolutely.
They left one of the tools they used to break open the glass where the jewels were kept. 120 million euros worth of jewelry.
That's taken. A lot of money, huh?
It's a lot. But they said this morning, the clues were so many. And two of the people, a couple who had about 10 years ago had been arrested for a robbery. And they found their fingerprints allegedly even though they've denied. I don't know how their fingerprints got there otherwise, but they've been arrested. And so they left, and they were saying, the chief inspector of police was giving a press conference, and he said lots and lots of clues were left behind by people who thought they'd been very clever and very precise. Because they did it when the public were there. They didn't do it overnight, and that's the kind of, they were talking about it being daring and, Hollywood movie style thing, but too many clues. And so up as I speak, 7 people have been arrested and charged over it. But like you said, they thought they'd thought of everything.
Yeah. Well, that is it. Experience is the biggest teacher.
That's why I look at it. It's a good farmer.
A good farmer.
A good farmer.
He didn't just say a farmer.
It can be farmer.
Just a farmer. He said a good farmer.
Yeah.
So that implicit in that is that there are bad farmers.
Yeah, quite. The bad farmer wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
The bad farmer.
We have it in our system. We have people that are good, but people that are very good, extremely good.
Of course.
6 common sense.
Yeah.
Six there.
Yeah. 6 common sense.
The 6th sense being common sense.
The IQ.
Yes.
You know the people that share the same problem? They said the man who married a beautiful wife and the farmer that grew corn on the roadside, they have the same type of problem. and come to think of it, it's real.
Everybody looks enviously at your corn and at your wife.
Everybody admire what you do, and when the corns are beautiful, everybody look at your corn. And when your wife is beautiful, you sometimes be like, okay, she's going to the market, how is everybody looking at her?
The blessing being the curse, as it were.
Yes. So when I saw farmer, it reminds me of that saying. So that is it. Yes, viewers, we'll be right back after the break. Then from the break, we'll delve into some of the stories on the newspapers. We'll be back.
Gambia's leader in optical care with 5 locations offering the best in visual health. With cutting-edge European technology, Opticalia delivers single vision lenses in just 20 minutes. At Opticalia, we care about our future. Eye exams are free for individuals under 18, ensuring everyone has access to quality eye care. But it's not just about vision. Opticalia also provides advanced audiology services to ensure your hearing health is in the best hands. Our audiology services offer European standard hearing aids and diagnostics, ensuring everyone can hear clearly. Whether it's testing or treatment, you can trust Opticalia for your auditory care. Opticalia offers European standard products, fair prices, and exceptional value all under one roof. Visit Opticalia at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia or call us on 7767-121 or at any of our regional branches. Banjul 7767-126, Brikama 7767-123, Farafenni 7767-124, Basse 7767-125. Opticalia, love what you see and hear.
Thank you very much. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV This Morning, and I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now we will head to the papers making headline. I mean, we'll take a look.
The papers making headline. Yes. Slow down, dude. Have you had your coffee today?
What did I just say?
The papers making headlines.
Papers making the headlines.
Oh yeah, I didn't take my breakfast. Terence, can you give me some coffee?
Please give him some
pour
coffee.
me some coffee. All right. So I will try to disregard the main headline of the Fourier newspaper.
Oh, why?
But we will go straight to another smaller headline.
You said that all the viewers are thinking, why?
No, I will come back to the main headline. But I prefer going through this one. Okay. Agriculture gets record.
I understand why.
You understand? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Record 1.77 billion allocation in 2026 budget estimates. That's the Minister of Finance. I mean, Sidi Keita.
That's agriculture. That's for agriculture.
That's for agriculture. But on behalf of the Minister of Finance is the one talking about.
He gave the budget speech on
So,
Friday.
okay, all these type of allocations that we are having, big money for agriculture, a lot of investment for agriculture. Mr. Ade, I'll tell you, our agriculture goes nowhere. We're still stagnant. Nothing is happening. With all these farming that we are hearing, the big farming, the rice farming, the vegetable farming, although probably even the vegetable farming is better than the other farming.
Is anybody starving in the Gambia?
It's imported.
No, is anybody starving?
No, it's imported. Most of the things that we eat is imported to this country.
Agriculture that they're talking about, a lot of what you're reading about here is to do with subsidizing fertilizer for Gambian farmers so that they don't have to bear. I mean, you hear farmers crying about the cost of fertilizer in the Gambia, and honestly, they don't know how lucky they are. They really don't, because if they had to pay the full price, then they'd scream. But government subsidizes them heavily and always has done. And so the cost that they have to bear is small. So a lot of this 1.7, almost all of it, is to do with subsidies. And a lot of those subsidies are for fertilizer.
The thing that I'm trying to put across is, how are we going to restructure our farming industry in the Gambia? Gambia being a small nation, with less than 3 million people. But we still cannot feed the whole nation. You've asked whether people are hungry in this country, whether people are not eating. There are people that are not eating, Mr. Ade. Whether you know it or you don't know it. There are people that cannot afford a bag of rice at the end of the month. So some people are not eating.
Yeah, I mean, I think the argument about whether, because we hear this talk about food self-sufficiency, and we're a million miles away from that, it's true. But you and I have had this discussion before, because you were once telling me that somebody who couldn't afford to buy a bag of rice could still afford 2,500 or 3,000 to pay a trafficker to traffic them across. So I've never bought that argument. It's undeniable that there are people who are not, who can't afford that. We know some people even in a job, because their job is so low paid, can't afford a bag of rice. It's true. And yes, we are a million miles away from being food self-sufficient. Majority of our staple food, rice, is imported. Huge majority, how many percent, is imported. And so there's a long, long way to go. So you're right to ask the question, are these subsidies being wasted? Are they being deployed properly? what's the point of the subsidy? $1.77 billion of subsidies for what? You know, yes, it's a valid question. It's a valid question.
Absolutely. Maybe to say that it is stagnant, maybe that's not quite fair as well. I'm not so sure.
It's growing too slowly,
It's going slowly. Absolutely. I think the relevant question will be, just as you said, with the money, where are you going to spend it? How is it the most optimal way to spend it? Will we make sure that we spend it where we say that we are going to spend it? For me, these are really the practical questions. The whole idea of self-sufficiency, we all know that that's a long haul, that's a long-term game. You know what I mean? What percentage of what we consume do we import? So it's going to take a long time to turn it around. It's like trying to turn around a tanker. It's a massive problem, isn't it? So we all know that. We are not naive, you know, to think that it can happen in next year or year after. No sane person can ever believe that because it's not practicable. You know what I mean? So we know that's a long-term project. The issue today is the little we have, how are we spending that? You see, let's rationalize the system right now.
And I guess that's the
then for the longer term.
That's the question you're asking. Are we deploying it in a way that is making a difference, that is going to make a difference?
Yes, because the thing is, we've been talking about subsidizing agriculture, putting aside certain things for agriculture, but it's moving, but it's very slow.
It's slow. It's true. I think
it would be unfair to say we are not doing anything. Mr. Mboj, you are right, but it's very slow. The pace is slow.
The pace is slow, and it needs to.
Other countries, just the point of the subsidy, but most countries subsidize agriculture.
Even as America and Britain.
I said
big, you know, heavy.
That was why in our trade, in the relationship, we're like, it's not fair.
It's not going to be an equal one.
It's not going to be an equal one. So there is no issue in that. Everybody does.
So on the same vein again, farmers seek government support for trade season. For trade season.
Yes. What support are they after now?
Exactly.
Probably buying their ground.
But government always does that. They might want it bought at a higher price than last year and the year before, maybe. That's the support they're looking for. But government is in a bind because, as I said, imagine not only have you subsidized their fertilizer, but then they want you to buy the groundnut at a particularly higher price as well. So you kind of, it's a double subsidy almost, you know. And government, you know, we complain about the little, you know, amount that government has, and then, you know, as you said, it needs to be spent wisely.
Absolutely.
And resources are always limited. Always limited. You must prioritize.
They're finite. They're not infinite.
Absolutely.
You know.
So National Assembly conference commences pre-budget retreat in Basse URR.
So these are the two things. So the other day the budget was laid before the National Assembly and it's a draft estimate for what we're going to spend from January 2026 to December 2026, which is where this subsidy thing comes about. And then now they're going to look at it. And then after the retreat, they're going to come back to the National Assembly and debate the budget and approve or not, and say this is too much, this is enough. How come the amount given to National Assembly members is so small? Give us more, you know, and stuff like that, you know. So
and often really the accusation, see, especially when you offer certain subsidies at a particular period, maybe with one eye on the election, then journalists will tend to say that, oh, you're bribing the electorate. Absolutely.
Yes,
because this thing that you're doing, can you afford it? Isn't it?
That's it.
We are taking so much debt. We are told that we should be careful, you know, the sort of debt we take. So there are all these things into it. Are you bribing the electorate, or you know, are you giving them,
or is it something that we can afford?
So let's move on to another paper, the Standard newspaper. I won't start with the main headline because we've discussed it here on several times. UDP buses Bensouda's false claims. I mean, I watched a video interview where Bensouda talked about how he spent, you know, on his campaign. I mean, what he's done for the UDP party. He said he does most of the party because of God. You understand? So I felt, is there God in politics?
No, but everybody...
He said, I did it for God. I did it for...
Not for me. Because in another paper, he talks about he didn't do what he did, as in leaving for personal ambition. But politicians always say this. They always say, I did it for God, or I did it for the people. I didn't do it for myself. But of course, if you become president, then, you know, effectively you're president of the whole country, but there's a certain sense of self and selfishness about it, about either becoming or wanting to become president. Because, you know, you want to hold that position. You're doing it for yourself. Don't let anybody tell you that they're only doing it for the people. And there's virtually no president of whom that can be said, really.
What I'm going to say is that what a messy divorce. But again, this kind of divorce was always going to be messy.
Yeah.
So you're going to have claims and counter-claims. I do not know. Yeah. It's an internal...
So you're talking about, you know, his false claim.
Absolutely.
And if you go on the same newspaper, bottom right, it says, Hamad singles out Unite movement as biggest threat.
That's Ahmad Ba.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he bases that on.
What type of threat is he talking about?
Electoral threat.
Electoral threat, yeah.
It doesn't mean coup d'etat.
So he mentioned it?
It's there. It says Hamad singles out Unite movement
as biggest threat.
Well, it's not even a political party yet. It hasn't registered as a political party yet. It's a movement. And it's a movement that's making a lot of noise on social media.
You know,
I'm always suspicious
I am surprised this is coming from
Ahmad Ba.
Ahmad Ba. I mean, a man claimed to be unshakable.
Look, Ahmad Ba knows, you and I know, that the biggest threat is still UDP, if there's a threat. It's not Unite movement. You know, let's be honest. You know, and this is a diversionary tactic. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Barrow says...
But here, to be honest to Ahmad, he's a quite sharp politician.
Yeah.
Ahmad Ba. Perhaps he's seeing potential in the Unite movement. Maybe he can see stuff just as we were talking about, the unusual signs that you see, the farmer and the steps.
Good farmer.
Maybe.
These are the footsteps.
So maybe, well, I wouldn't have the courage to say that's nonsense. I wouldn't have the courage to do so, because there are so many X's. The potential for Unite movement, we do not know yet.
I think if Unite movement transitions into a political party and then throws their hat into the ring in terms of wanting to contest, then yes, but I don't think we're there yet.
That's it. And who would join them? So there are many X factors
imponderables.
Here. That's
absolutely.
What so that is the issue, but one shouldn't just dismiss it either.
A very interesting headline on the Standard newspaper. Barrow says all ministers, governors, chiefs, Al-Kalulu must campaign for his re-election. You see, we talked about how political appointments can influence other positions. You know, the other time I mentioned, we used to know, okay, Al-Kalulus are being chosen by the village, you understand? Not politically chosen. But now the system have, how do I call it? It has metamorphosed to an extent. Now things have changed.
Yes. Things have changed. I think this was said at the rally over the weekend. And of course, in terms of what he says, if you look at it in context, he's saying because of all the good things I've done for you and so on, you should be grateful.
You need to pay me back.
You should be grateful, and part of your gratitude should be to campaign for my re-election. So yeah, nothing unusual there.
Should you say that? Ministers, of course.
Quite.
Yeah, you appointed them.
I appoint ministers.
These are political appointments, so one would certainly expect so. And governors,
chiefs.
You see, this is really where the problem comes in. Because with certain positions or certain institutions, how they work will depend on their independence.
Yeah, quite.
really, they're really serving the whole country. These things shouldn't be based on party. This is really what is confusing here. Government ministers, obviously, it's a political thing. You certainly expect it, otherwise you can sack them. Sack them. But there are other institutions that you cannot do that. Because really, for the institution to have credibility, respect for everybody, there must be at least the perception of independence.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So one cannot say that.
So Barrow says Dabo will never be president, even backed by all opposition parties.
I'm sorry to disappoint His Excellency, but
I
suspect Yahya Jammeh said the same thing.
You see,
before the 2016.
The thing that I'm saying, I am smelling Yahya Jammeh's kind of vibes. You understand?
You know, it's how soon we forget. How soon we forget.
That's why we repeat them.
This is it. We forget things and we repeat the same mistakes.
Every mistake.
You know, so it's quite a statement to make. But you would expect
there's another song that says, as it pain them, it is sweet us.
It is sweet me. Exactly. It is pain them. But interestingly, I was going to say, when we mentioned the Hamad singles out, I was going to mention that right next to it is one that says Information Minister or Info Minister says, no credible opposition to Barrow. That's right next to it. I think the paper put those two deliberately next to each other, you know, those two headlines. So we're in that, you know, election is a year away. But already I think the election campaign has started, and we saw that with the NPP rally, the other on Saturday.
And imagine a chessboard, the pieces are moving about, so we can't quite make out, as it were, how it will, the configuration that will emerge later. So the pieces are moving about.
Yeah, quite.
Really.
You never know what's going to happen.
One never knows. One never knows.
So the Point newspaper, for Barrow vows well-resourced campaign for his 2026 re-election bid.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
where would the resources come from?
Where they're coming from. You know, when you're the president and you're the incumbent, lots of people throw money at you, and they hope you get elected, and they hope they can benefit from that. So yes, because otherwise, where's the money coming from? You know. Not magic, there's not some magic money tree. It's obviously you're going to be backed by people who think you know, that you're going to win, or that if you do win, that they'll benefit from you winning. So yeah, so yes, I'm sure it's going to be well resourced.
Well, that's the kind of talk.
I mean, because they're not a business. NPP is not a business that is a money-making business. So where is the money coming from?
Exactly.
To ensure that his campaign is well resourced, for him to say that. You know.
So, I mean, good morning, Mr. President, from the Point newspaper. Jammeh's return must come with justice. You remember the same Point newspaper belongs to the late Deda Haidara.
Of course.
You remember Point newspaper followed and asked a question before the revolution. Who killed Deda Haidara? You understand? Until after the TRRC, when they have to change that caption, Jammeh ordered the killing of Deda Haidara.
Yeah, that's right.
So Point newspaper is asking, it needs to come with justice.
I mean, interestingly, when you look at what they've changed it to, for some reason, there's a question mark. It says Jammeh killed Deda Haidara in the top right-hand corner, question mark. I'm not sure why the question mark is there.
Jammeh killed Deda Haidara?
Yeah,
that's what it says.
It's now.
It's like they're asking a question.
Now they're asking the question. We thought the TRRC had, I guess.
Absolutely.
I guess he hasn't been convicted of it, so maybe that's why they put. But initially, it didn't have that question mark.
And you know what it said before? Jammeh ordered killing.
That's right. When that came up at the TRRC, they then changed it to that. And of course, so now when they're asking that it must come with justice, of course, you're not going to be surprised. But they're not the only ones who are saying that. Others are saying the same, you know.
What was the code they had for him? The magic pen?
Yes.
That was the operation. We had, you know, for the TRRC. You know, people sort of said that they did it.
Yeah, quite.
And the chain of command.
That's right, leading to it. You know.
So,
but you know,
Jammeh's return, I don't know.
It's because one, Another paper has it again, of course.
Where Barrow said,
Barrow dares Jammeh to return.
He said, Barrow dares Jammeh to return.
Yeah.
You know,
we're falling into a trap.
No, this audio.
He's setting the agenda for us, what we talk about.
Quite,
you know, he's feeling lonely over there. He wants to be relevant.
And
so once in a while, and we've been having this.
No, he got it.
Because we're talking about
it.
Look at this.
We are mentioning it even on TV. I think President Barrow should have just been silent. He should not have talked about it.
And the press release.
The thing is, Jammeh released an audio saying, we will know who owns Gambia, whether you or me, who owns Gambia. And so for him, in his head, he thinks he owns this country.
Well, and of course, in his head, he's coming back this month.
He's coming back
this month. You put it that way, in his head. So that's it. To me, the only relevance former President Jammeh has with us right now is when are we going to issue an international arrest warrant?
Yeah.
That's it. It's merely in the context of the TIRC report,
it's been
the recommendations, that's it, that for him to be prosecuted, so we test the testimony, if you like, that we receive. That's the only relevance that Jammeh has in this country right now.
Otherwise, he's kind of, as you rightly said, we're giving this thing too much oxygen, because if you look in the bottom right of Foroya, what's the headline? Legal implication of President Jammeh's anticipated return. You know, we're all talking about it. Just ignore him. If he's coming back, come back.
He's a fiddler, isn't he?
And we're dancing to his tune.
When he announced his return to the Gambia in Kanilai 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of jubilation.
You mentioned it, and you talked about your disappointment.
I was disappointed with some imams.
Religious people.
According to them, their imams, they prayed 2 rakah to say, may God make this possible.
Yes.
And God is just. God knows the right thing to do. So sometimes we don't have to use religion to do certain things. You understand? Religion should be independent on certain things.
Then we wouldn't be human beings. Human beings have been doing that since human beings have existed, and since religions have existed. They've always used religion for certain things across the world.
Absolutely.
It's nothing new.
But again, others would remind us that God has given us certain responsibilities. You have different political systems and different political realities around the world, because that is the autonomy he's given us. Otherwise, he would have had possibly one uniform, God-given system. There is no such thing.
There's no single system.
You've been given space for you to show your freedom, so that tomorrow, what they're going to judge, they're going to come Judgment Day. What is Judgment Day going to judge? Your actions within that frame of autonomy that you've been given by God. So we abdicate this responsibility that God has given us, so we're giving it back to God. I'm like, come on, have good faith. Focus and do the work that God wants you to do. If you don't do it, you don't see anything. Look at our history. Jesus.
Well, it's really a complicated thing. I think understanding it's also very significant, Mr. Ade. You know, you can follow your religion. You understand? But there should be a sense of understanding. You understand? Don't use religion to blackmail people for your personal gain or interest. And you know, we've been seeing a lot of those things happen.
For you to say it, people have been doing it for as long as we've been on this earth. And I'm surprised we've dealt with all the headlines. We haven't dealt with Trump's threat to bomb Nigeria. He's threatening to bomb Nigeria, you know, because
Did he say that?
Yes, of course. He said Christians are being persecuted.
Okay. Oh, now it's Nigeria and Christians. All right. He's done with South Africa and the race thing. Now he's going to the religion thing in Nigeria.
And he said he will come in with all guns blazing, to quote him. I will come in with all guns blazing if this does not stop. That was on Friday. And of course on Saturday, that quote went viral, and he wasn't pulling back. And people were asking, who's been advising this man to talk nonsense? Because he's talking about, you know, Islamists and jihadists. These people are killing more Muslims than they're killing Christians. So, you know, any Muslim who don't agree with them is put to death. So, Christian, and if he did carry out his threat, he would unleash something in Nigeria that he would regret for the rest of his days. So he'd better not even.
But thank God, though, from what we've seen so far, whatever he says means nothing. He can change it in the next minute.
Yeah,
so erratic. Yeah, sometimes it feels like a stunt.
It's old age.
He is just talking. It's just a stunt.
He's doing
that's his style.
I think old age is also playing.
No, really.
He probably
Trump being Trump.
Well, not even probably. I'm sure he could not even find Nigeria on a map. If you gave him a world map, took out all the country names, tell him point which one is Nigeria. I bet you $1 million he probably wouldn't find
Trump uttering such kind of threats is sometimes risky because imagine he's the commander-in-chief.
Of course it's risky.
Imagine if he's crazy to order people to go and bomb Nigeria. No one is to refuse.
No, exactly. And the fact that he could make such a threat, I think he thinks Nigeria is like Iraq.
Oh, maybe,
where you go in, you take out the Saddam Hussein, and then everything's okay. He'll be in for a nasty shock.
For me, what I think his favorite weapon so far has been tariffs.
Yeah, of course.
He will probably use tariffs in all sorts of ways. That is what normally happens.
As part of the threat.
That is his weapon of war.
As part of the threat, he went on to say that if Nigeria doesn't crack down in the way that he wants them to crack down on these Islamists, he will impose tariffs and also stop all aid to Nigeria.
But don't they understand now people are moving to China?
I don't think he cares.
China is taking over.
At the moment, he doesn't care.
The world business now.
At the moment, he doesn't care, but he will care. But they've just agreed a deal, China and America, on
with
Saturday.
All the talk.
With all the talk, all the noise.
Exactly.
They just, he met Xi Jinping, and they've agreed a deal.
In the end, he's a pragmatist. But again, he's a TV guy. He's a showman. Remember? So that's once in a while he'll just say something outrageous, and we'll all be talking about it. Just as Jammeh does once in a while. Then we'll all be talking about it, and then he can change his mind in the next 5 minutes.
And he's completely changed the presidency in America, because anybody comes after him now will realize that. And the reason they can impose these tariffs is because of the dominant position that they had in world trade. And so he can impose these tariffs. No American president has come close to doing what he's doing still, imposing tariffs here, there, and on every country, even countries where there are no people. He imposed tariffs. That's one place in Antarctica that has 323 people. They don't have any trade with America. Imposing tariffs.
The only thing that pains me.
But again, you realize, past two presidents, was it McKinley, was it one of them, had also done this. Using tariffs as a weapon of war.
The only thing
but in the end, they realized that no,
it's not
you
lose.
Working. In the end, you will lose.
The sanction that pains me well is the Cuba one. I think. In fact, they've asked Gambia to plead on their behalf, to support them, to make sure.
Not just Gambia, many countries. We know about Gambia because we live here, but they've asked many countries, and many countries have done so. But American presidents, it's convenient and expedient for them to keep the sanctions, particularly, as we've said, there's a certain demographic, particularly Cuban Americans, who they'll turn against you if you say you're going to relax relations with Cuba. And so to please them and get their vote, because they're a crucial vote, particularly in the state of Florida, American presidents have always kind of licked their boots, basically, and gone along with that program. Well, there's no justification for it. Cuba is not as big as China. You fought a war with Vietnam. You're now good buddies with Vietnam when it comes to trade. You bombed Japan in the Second World War. Good friends. You're supposedly enemies with China. You just struck a deal with China. They're doing all these things with their so-called enemies. Even Russia. The reason you can sanction Russia is because American companies are still trading with Russia. You haven't banned trade with Russia. And yet small Cuba, you still are punishing. It's cowardice. Because you can do it, you do it.
So even the Obama tried to make some change
to kind of,
So here, really, I think this is the deal between Cuba and the U.S. It will always be subject to U.S. domestic policy, and it depends on who is in the White House. You don't have really one rule when you look at it. It just depends on American domestic politics, and absolutely that Cuban vote in Florida. Remember, it made a difference between Al Gore and and Bush. Absolutely. So yes, there is that factor, but it will just depends on the vagaries of American politics in many ways.
I mean, when Obama really extended an invitation to Raul Castro, he got a huge backlash from that community of, Cuban exiles.
Is that a son to Fidel Castro?
Brother.
No, brother.
Or a brother.
Younger brother who took over after Fidel. And, the backlash was, ferocious. Why are you inviting this man? Why are you trying to relax things? As I mentioned on here before, when you go to Cuba, they ask you if you want the stamp at the airport or not.
Yeah,
because
otherwise
they know that it could cause problems.
They will not allow you to get into
America.
Yeah.
Obama did away with that so that you were not penalized, but that's been reintroduced.
Was there any relation between Che Guevara and Fidel Castro?
Che Guevara? Yes, of course.
And that he was supporting Fidel Castro.
Oh my God.
I don't know. He's an Argentinian who was part of the movement that brought Fidel and others to power.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, they then decided that they were going to take the Cuban Revolution to different countries. And so he did, eventually he was killed in Bolivia, and they displayed his naked body to show the world that we have killed this man that you think is indestructible.
So the two were comrades.
They were comrades.
As we used to call it, now we say comrades.
And it is alleged that Fidel allowed him to go because
where
he was becoming too popular. He's from Argentina originally, but he joined the Cuban Revolution and was quite senior.
And he came to Congo.
Yeah, he came to Congo.
He met Kabila.
Yes.
Oh, Joseph Kabila, the old man.
The old guy.
So the old guy.
Yeah,
so he looked at the situation.
Yeah, quite.
Then he said, these guys were not serious.
Yeah, quite.
So when he went back to Cuba, when they looked at the situation in Africa, and they said the only revolution with any prospects was Amilcar Cabral's one.
Exactly.
Not Joseph Kabila.
Right.
He thought
in
Kabila was serious.
Bissau and Cabo Verde.
And afterwards, history vindicated him.
That's right.
Now it's Kabila's son, son coming back.
Quite.
Yeah, that was what Che Guevara said.
I mean, a lot of things happened in the past, and great people lived here. People who tried changing the system. But our systems at some point, they look stagnant to an extent. Look at the West, look at their systems. Look at Turkey. Look how Ataturk, and his people did their revolution, and they changed, the lives of the people in Turkey, and now it's working for
his revolution really is one of the most remarkable ever. When you think about the fact that, first of all, he went from being a sort of Islamic state to a secular state. That's in the constitution, and it's not even negotiable. They'd kill you if you tried to change that aspect of it, the secularity of it. But also, when he wanted them to change from Arabic to their own
alphabet.
He gave them 3 years. They did it in 6 months.
Oh, wow.
In 6 months. And that is the alphabet that they're still using to this day. It's been one of the most remarkable changes ever.
There's a point when I was in Turkey.
By force of will.
Yes, when I was in Turkey, I was talking to a friend. I asked a friend, I said, "Are they Arabs?" And he said to me, "Hey, loyal." He said to me, "Loyal." He said, if you call them Arabs,
good.
You might have a problem.
Exactly.
Ataturk went very. We didn't have time when Toka Oba was here, but he went quite deep. So even as he mentioned, a particular type of hat, the fez, which associated them with the Ottoman Empire, was banned. You could not wear that hat. People wear it now because, Erdogan has relaxed those things. He thinks it's, no longer practicable to ban people wearing a certain type of hat. But that's how far Ataturk went, and he wanted the change to be. You'll never see him in Haftan.
Yeah.
He always wore Western style suit all the time. He wanted there to be that break, that change. Because, this is a nation that had been defeated, had been occupied, and he had fought with distinction in Gallipoli, and also the Turkish War of Independence, he had distinguished himself. And he said, we will now stand on our own, we'll be self-sufficient, we won't rely on the West, and we won't rely on the Arab nations. We will forge our own path.
Yes,
and that's
and we'll modernize.
And we will modernize.
That was really the idea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really bringing in enlightenment ideas in many ways. Hence, he wanted a secular state. Not any of that. He was just a brilliant leader of men.
Yeah, quite.
Because Gallipoli was a massive scalp for him. It embarrassed Churchill.
Yeah, quite.
Really,
exactly.
he was the one that embarrassed Churchill in that way. So this is it. If you're going to modernize, how radical?
Do you need
because
to be?
The examples you've seen in history, all of them, how radical you got to be. What was it he said? For the people, despite the people.
Exactly.
Stern, brave, look at your society so that you can change it. If you're going to do it softly, forget it, you will fail.
Yeah, you know. So you're doing things for them, despite of what they think they want or need.
Exactly. That was what Ataturk said.
And that's Ataturk.
That's Ataturk's,
you know, for the people, despite the people. You know, and you know, we've seen it. And so when you talk about Che Guevara, when he saw Amilcar Cabral, because he saw how deeply thought out and structured the plans were Amilcar Cabral thing. Just about 4 or 5 days ago, I was watching on Cabo Verde TV, and they were talking about honoring the memory of Amilcar Cabral. They still talk about him almost every day in Cabo Verde.
Because we are living now. We've seen what he was trying to say, really. So
you can see how revolutionists, fought for change, how they've gone the extra mile to make sure their people live comfortably. But they are also mixed up and misinformation. Let's take a look at the case of Idi Amin of Uganda. You know, he was a dictator, but the movies that I watch of Idi Amin, they painted him in such a way. I realized, okay, I was like, Idi Amin is one of the most cruel person in this world. Then later I realized, okay, he was just fighting for his nation.
No, he wasn't.
Oh my God.
No, he wasn't. He really was one of the most cruel people.
Oh my God.
He really was, and that's why they got rid of him. He really was one of the most cruel people.
What did Soyinka say recently? He said, Soyinka, the Nobel Prize winner, the first African Nigerian. He had his visa, American visa, revoked recently. So they asked him, why do you think you did that? He said, well, I compared Trump to Idi Amin. And that should have been a compliment for him.
Mr. Ade, you want to tell me Idi Amin was that?
He was awful, horrendous, killing his own people.
He killed lots and lots of people.
Oh my God.
Who didn't agree with him. And
but the movies,
when we leave here, I'll give you a documentary to watch. There was a French crew that went to film Idi Amin, and I have the documentary. It's about an hour long, and there's a scene there which kind of tells you how ridiculous Idi Amin had become. For him, he probably didn't even see the kind of ridiculousness of it. So he had issued a press release say that all organizations that have somebody who is described as the president can no longer describe that person as the president. There should be only one president. So whilst this film crew were there for 2 weeks, the Association of Medical Doctors came to visit Idi Amin, and they were introducing themselves. And they introduced this man saying, he's the president of our association. And Amin said, he's the what? And they said, oh, I'm sorry. He's the chairman of our association. And everybody laughed because they realized how idiotic it was.
He doesn't like
it doesn't mean that he's going to depose you as president. He's president of an association, but that's how silly it had become. And then they showed him berating a couple of ministers. And at the end of the documentary, it said a week later, this minister was executed. You know, so don't try and whitewash Idi Amin. He really was a cruel, nasty, vicious individual.
I mean, luckily for us, we learned our history before social media. Now, anybody, I can post anything, AI. That's why sometimes they call it post-truth.
They tell you how good. They tell you how good Gaddafi was.
Exactly, how
because he gave people free housing. They don't tell you about all the people he killed. So when there was a student demonstration. In one particular April, he had 24 of the students hanged and their bodies hanging from lampposts in Tripoli for a week.
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi, the same Gaddafi. So when people tell me nonsense about Gaddafi, this, Gaddafi, that, they need to check the facts, really. You know, just because he gave people, it wasn't his money to give. The country had oil wealth. We know that the country has become a mess because of the interference by the West. But it doesn't mean that means Gaddafi was good or he was noble.
Yeah, that's it.
And the only reason he wanted to be president of Africa was that ego trip, not because he believed in African unity as such.
That is it. So for some of these people who talk about Gaddafi in such terms, I'm like, you're finding it difficult to hold on to two things that are equally true. Yes, he supported the ANC. Yeah, you all know that, giving them money. Yeah, yes, he was supporting all these things, giving them money. That was even state money, granted. Yet he was murdering all his opposition.
Yeah.
So both of these things are true. And just because he did this, you want me to disregard the other one? I cannot do that.
Well, the thing is, they do this thing.
I cannot do that.
To hide the other thing.
Something else.
You understand? So I think most leaders, might have things that they are hiding from the public, even the West, Mr. When you look at when they tell you the things that Obama did that we don't even know.
What do you mean we don't know? Look, Obama, when they gave Obama the Nobel Peace Prize, that had to be one of the biggest jokes ever. They gave it to him in the very month when they sent troops in to kill Osama bin Laden. That's hardly somebody who's deserving of a peace prize. What did he get it for? He'd only been in office a year. Had he done enough to get it? Yes, there was this kind of groundswell of optimism around him, but they were too hasty with that. They should have given him a bit of time, 2-3 years. But I was in his first term. And a year into his first term, he got given that. It's totally undeserved. And of course, as he proved later, wasn't any peace monger.
You've said even in the West. Yeah. Let's put it this way, yeah? People are people just anywhere you go.
Yeah.
The difference is, in the West, for some politicians in lively liberal democracies, for some politicians it's difficult to do certain things because the media, they're free, or the institutions are autonomous, then you get caught sometimes and you pay the price.
That's right.
Not long ago, who was sent to prison? Sarkozy in France.
Former
president.
So
let's be careful
here. His prison sentence last week. 5 year prison sentence.
5 years?
Yes. So people are people, they will try things. But in some societies, institutions wouldn't allow you to get away with that.
Of course.
Oh, not for long. You will be caught, you will be tried, and sometimes you are convicted. That's it. That's the difference with ours. Our institutions are weak. They're really weak. They are weak institutions. They cannot serve us. They're not serving us. They serve only the people who are manning them at the time. That's really
exactly. That's what happened. You are only loyal to the system, to the coup that is in place.
The coup.
Exactly.
Look what's happening in Guinea. I don't know if you watched Guinea TV recently, but state media, RTG, they spent hours at this big rally of people saying that Mamadi Doumbouya should be the only candidate in the upcoming election, and they had all these things, they were chosen candidate and so on. Huge rally, it's quite impressive. But of course, when you see this man on TV every day, and he's the only one you see every day, all day, imagine he goes jogging in the morning from State House and he has a four-man camera crew and 4 cameras.
Yeah, they follow him with different cars.
And 4 cameras. And they take him from every
just for jogging or riding. Riding a bicycle. A whole entourage follow him.
And so he has this Simandu 2040 project, which he says is going to transform. So, Mr. Mboch,
you said it right. You are only loyal to the system in place. At the end of the time.
When it's gone, another one comes along,
you follow that. And let's take a look at the case of Tanzania, where the army won the police, according to the army chief and the army general. police should not shoot any protester. I mean,
and yet 300 people have been killed.
Yes. If you continue, we are also going to shoot you.
On the mantle of the Iron Lady.
She really has, and she's being sworn in today.
I
and
saw
they're
that.
doing it behind closed doors.
I saw that, Mr. Adedrame. You know, I tried not to label the lady as a dictator. But at some point, I'll be like, okay, I've never seen a female dictator before. For almost 40 years now, I've not seen a female dictator. Have you seen one before?
Well, Indira Gandhi was accused of that.
What about Margaret Thatcher?
No, Margaret Thatcher.
Her own party. A dictator within the party. Possibly,
yes,
but not in Britain.
But even
like
Margaret Thatcher,
that. It was
her own party that got rid of her because they thought they were going to lose an election. They got rid of her and she left Downing Street in tears, but they didn't lose that election.
Yeah, you know, when this lady came in after the demise of John Magufuli, you know, I saw this lady came, and you know, I was like, quite impressive.
And everybody thought she was going to be bullied.
Like, wow, okay, this lady, wow, probably she might change some Ugandan style, Tanzanian style, but it didn't happen.
She went even harder.
She jailed all the main opposition.
Banned main opposition parties for the smallest infractions, you know, and no, she's. I mean, I've downloaded a whole series of the campaign videos because we wanted to do a story about her. And, you know, the people are there singing and dancing and praising her, calling her mother of the nation and so on. And, you know, she goes from, you know, district to district talking about all the good things she has done and why they should vote for her. But essentially, it was a kind of one-party state that she's brought into being. So, yeah, I mean, a dictator is a dictator. I mean, they talk about women, this, women, that. The only reason we haven't seen it is because not many of them have been given the chance, really.
So are they
behave just like the men.
In my own perverse way, I'm glad that she sort of upended a certain stereotype of women will be more nurturing, more this, more that.
Yeah, I realize, you know, but then when you talk about dictator, the mental picture that I have is only men. But now I've learned what men can do, women can do it better.
Thank you.
You understand?
So even worse.
So that is what is. So what's happening in Cameroon?
In Cameroon, people are still out on the streets. They're appealing.
Africa.
The one person who hasn't made any statement is Paul Biya, funnily enough. You know, even though he's been confirmed as the winner. Chiroma is still putting out his daily, you know, for me, slightly irresponsible because you're telling people get out on the streets and people are being killed. You're in hiding, and one of the people who works for the security services leaked that they'd been told to arrest him anytime they find him. So of course now that has kind of upped the ante. It's made it even more, you know, dramatic and scary in Cameroon because of course they're not going to arrest him because they want to have a nice cozy chat with him. It's because they might charge him with treason or something. So that has kind of made it worse in terms of your question. What's happening in Cameroon is still very unstable.
That's it. And you have Biya himself. You said nobody's heard from him, but this is it. Your country is burning. The president is not saying anything. He probably has forgotten about this. The man is 92, probably suffering from dementia. Then you have people around him taking decisions. That's why he hasn't come out. He's probably hardly aware
he doesn't even know what's happening.
He doesn't know what's going on.
He must watch TV.
92.
He needs to come out and address the nation. He needs to come out and address the nation and say, I don't like what is happening in my country. But no.
That tells you.
Quiet. He just, even to say, oh, I'm glad I've been re-elected. Come out and say even that.
A man that have been there for the 8th term. This is the 8th, right?
I have a feeling it is his wife
who gives him a brag.
No, he's used to the pattern, so there's nothing exciting about coming again and talking to the public.
He should come out and brag about it. You know,
people are dying.
I'm glad you've elected me for the 8th time, but
it's a national issue.
And
that's a national issue. It's a national vote. They voted for him.
That is what they've said.
That is what they've said.
That's it. So let's be careful with what we know, as it were.
That is true.
Thank you.
We're supposed to have Dels of QTV here.
Yes.
And if Dels is not here, I'm afraid...
I'm sure Dels is here. I did say if he's awake.
I'm afraid we are going to close this segment.
Psychic.
Yeah, I mean,
you thought I was joking.
At this time, he was supposed to be here, and probably he's pulling his comforter on him at the moment. His duvet.
He might be here.
So, Mr. Adedrame, thank you very much for reviewing these stories with us. Mr. Momodou Mbodj, thank you very much.
Cheers.
I'm afraid we are going to close this this program here today.
Good.
Okay.
You know, it was really a very, you know, fruitful interaction.
Our guests have let us down, not just Dels?
Yes, we were supposed to have the Kanifing General Hospital,
yes.
you know, on the urology camp in the Gambia, you know, and the Dels was also nominated for the Le Africa Awards,
which will be held in Dakar.
In Dakar,
yes.
You know, so we said as colleagues, it would be important to have him on our platform, because right now, if you go to Dakar, you will see a lot of televisions talking to their people. So this is what we can do to support.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, gentlemen, until then, we'll be back here tomorrow again for another edition of QTV This Morning. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.